Up first, a New Jersey mother is under arrest after police say her 2 children were found dead yesterday morning. Somerset County prosecutors say 7-year-old Samantha Ross and her 10-month-old brother Paul Ross were found in the back of a vehicle near Mountain Creek in Hillsborough with their mother behind the wheel. The children were found bound and restrained to their booster seats. Police are still trying to determine how the children died and a possible motive.
The group tried to help the robbery victims because they'd heard about the recent string of attacks on Asians. Police are looking for 3 suspects in that case.
We understand when we're being singled out for one reason and one reason only, and that is the color of our skin.
The group tried to help the robbery victims because they'd heard about the recent string of attacks on Asians in Manhattan in support of the Asian American community. A recent spike in random attacks on Asian Americans in New York City and across the country has stoked fear, anxiety, and anger. Leaders and activists say it is time to rise up against hate.
More than 100 New Yorkers rallied Saturday in Foley Square to denounce the recent crimes against Asian New Yorkers.
It's really been terrifying for our community.
We will not accept hatred in New York City.
Volunteers will not do.
According to data released by the group Stop Asian American and Pacific Islander Hate, from mid-March to the end of 2020, there was 28,000 first-hand reports of anti-Asian hate across 47 states and Washington, D.C. In just the last week, the city has seen 3 violent, seemingly unprovoked attacks on Asian Americans.
A full-time, dedicated bureau, 24 hours, 7 days a week that patrol the streets, patrol the subways, and keep the Asian community safe.
After leading the charge to defund the police, the Attorney General is now demanding more policing.
Haven police secured the murder warrant with a $5 million bond for Kim Swan Pon. For weeks, authorities described the MIT grad as a person of interest.
Former New York Knicks star Jeremy Lin says he will not be naming the person who called him coronavirus on the basketball court.
Fill in for Chris Harrison after the Bachelor host stepped away.
The Manhattan District Attorney's Office has decided not to prosecute the stabbing of an Asian man in Chinatown this week as a hate crime. Investigators have no indication that the suspect, Salman Mufli of Brooklyn, saw the victim's face.
We're passing an illegal Chinese gambling den last night as a robbery was taking place. The group tried to help the robbery victims because they'd heard about the recent string of attacks on Asians.
More pop-up vaccine sites for children at New York City public schools are scheduled for today. It comes as the city is trying to deal with lingering problems.